Hey guys, it's me, Big Rick, and I'm here to talk to you about the second half schedule for the New York Knicks. I found this interesting chart on 538.com. Their source is basketballreference.com. But before I get into this, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and it helps me create more videos. So let's get to it. So in this uh, chart, as you can see up here, the New York Knicks have one of the toughest schedules out there. I think it's the most toughest schedule. And the crazy thing about it is there are teams that are playing for playoff spots with us that have some of the easiest schedules. You got the Miami Heat on the other spectrum where they have one of the easiest schedules. You have Washington is on the easier schedule spectrum. Toronto, Boston, Charlotte, Philadelphia, which is in first place, is barely on the hard side of the spectrum. Atlanta's on the cusp. Milwaukee's barely past the on the orange side. Indiana, the same thing. Chicago's probably the closest team to us. So it just boggles my mind sometimes how it seems like the league just wants to kill us. They really, really want to kill us and not have us make the playoffs. But let's see where we stand right now. As of March 9th, the Knicks are, here goes the standings. 76ers are 24 and 12, and they're in first place. Deservedly so. But only a half game above the Nets, who just currently signed Blake Griffin. Why? I don't know. He's going to be useless. Milwaukee Bucks right behind them. Boston Celtics in fourth. Knicks in fifth. That's my team. The Heat in sixth. Charlotte Hornets in seventh. Raptors in eighth. Bulls in ninth. Pacers in 10th. Hawks right there, right behind them in 11th. Washington Wizards starting to play a lot better. They're in 12th. I don't think the Cavs, Magic, or I highly doubt the Pistons is going to make a run. So those teams I'm not even going to pay attention to. Um, but as you can see, that's where everything stands right now. What we have going on in the second half for our schedule. Starting on March 11th, we have Milwaukee, Oklahoma City, Brooklyn. We have an ESPN game there. 76ers, Orlando, 76ers, Washington, Milwaukee, Miami, Minnesota, Dallas, Detroit, Brooklyn, Boston, Memphis, Toronto, Los Angeles, another ESPN game, New Orleans, Dallas, ESPN, New Orleans, ESPN, Charlotte, Atlanta, Toronto, ESPN, Phoenix, Chicago, ESPN, Houston, Memphis, Denver, Phoenix, LA, Los Angeles, San Antonio, Charlotte, and Boston. I don't know why it says TBD on the time. I guess maybe they're trying to decide if it's going to be a night game or a day game. But those are the schedules. But the good thing is we're on TV 6 times on ESPN, which is great because we were rarely on ESPN except unless we played the Brooklyn Nets, which yeah, we're playing the Brooklyn Nets on one of them. But we got some other televised games, which is great. That means people are starting to respect us. And I think we are still going to make the playoffs. But this schedule is tough. And the one that kills me is this long road trip right here. May 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th. All West Coast swing against some pretty tough teams. Memphis, Denver, Phoenix, LA, Los Angeles. And then we come home against San Antonio, Charlotte, and Boston. From May 2nd to May 16th, this may be the schedule that decides whether we make it to the playoffs or not. I mean, this is killer right here. This is a killer part of the schedule. I mean, you could even go up to April 26th or April 24th. We got some playoff teams here. Shoot, you could say up to April 20th because Charlotte's on lead in our division. Atlanta, Toronto, those are teams we got to fight off to keep our spot. We got to fight off Chicago. Houston's probably who knows at this point what they're going to be? They might start selling off at the trade deadline, but that's probably the only one I could say is an easy W. So, I mean, this is a tough schedule going from, I'm going to say, man, I don't even know where the break begins for us. Probably April 3rd, we play Detroit. That should be a W. So let's say from April 5th all the way to May 16th. I mean, it is a tough schedule. I mean, you can't even say Washington's a win because they've been playing so much better now. They've been playing a lot better. But am I worried? No, because we beat in Milwaukee. So we know we can play with the big boys. We've killed Boston. So we know we could play them. And if we've beaten teams like that, I think we could beat teams like New Orleans. I know we could beat teams like Dallas and Toronto. We should be able to beat. And Phoenix, I mean, it's going to be tough, but I think we could take them. Uh, San Antonio handed us a whooping, but I think we're going to whoop them back because we don't forget. Tom Thibodeau does not forget. So this schedule is tough, but if you're a true blue Knicks fan, you know we're going to make the playoffs. You know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to say 35 games left. We're going 19-16. I know it's only 3 games above 500, and you guys are thinking, well, that's not a bold prediction. Bold prediction would be 21-14, but 19-16, this team's still young. I think that gets us into the playoffs. You think about it, that would put us at 38-34. If I would have told you at the beginning of the year it would be 38-34, you would have slapped me. And lastly, I just want you to check out this one last article right here, which just highlights how difficult our second half schedule is. Uh, First off, the team will face 12 out of 15 Eastern Conference teams, which includes Boston and Philadelphia and Toronto. Notable Western Conference home games in the second half includes the Mavericks, the Lakers, the Pelicans, and the Suns. Second half of the schedule features 5 nationally televised games on ESPN. That's weird because I counted 6 on the other thing, on the other schedule. It says the Nets, the Lakers, and the Pelicans. They only show 3 there, so I wonder where the disconnect is. The next rescheduled game against the San Antonio Spurs from the first half of the season will be played on May 13th. The Knicks, oh, this is the one I was telling you about. The Knicks will take part in the longest road trip of the season from May 2nd to May 11th, with six-game road trip feature stops at the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Suns, the Clippers, and the Lakers. So that just shows how tough this season's going. The second half is going to be for the Knicks. But again, like I said, I believe 19-16, 38-34. That schedule, I believe, will get us at least 6th or 7th place in the Eastern Conference. I would hope that we can get to 4th place because at least we'd be able to host a home game in the first round, like be first game in the playoffs would be a home game. But at least we get to play in the playoffs. That's all I want for this team, this young team, to host a playoff game, become a place where free agents want to come. Like did that video about the superstar that wants to get traded to New York, who it might be. I still believe it's going to be Bradley Beal. But once we become a free agent destination, just like how Brooklyn did it, they build a foundation first. Then they got Kyrie, then they got KD, now they got Harden, now they got Blake Griffin. Um, that's what the Knicks are going to be. And even though the Nets are better than the Knicks this year, guess what? No one's talking about them as much as they're talking about the Knicks. And the reason that is because New York will always be a Knicks town. No one cares about the Nets. You're a transplant from New Jersey. And even when I lived in Jersey, we didn't go watch the Nets to go watch the Nets. We went to watch them for the teams that came from other cities or other states. So if we wanted to see when, Sacramento had Lottie Divac and Chris Webber and Mike Miller, and they were an exciting team to watch, we didn't go there to root for the Nets. We went and rooted for the other team. No one cares about the Nets. You could bring in as many people you want. You'll never own New York. You could win a championship this year. You won't own New York. New York will always be a Knicks town. So eventually, everybody's gonna start coming to the New York Knicks. The Nets have basically given up all their assets for the future, and these players are getting older, and eventually, it's gonna be all downhill for them. So, give me your comments down below. Tell me what you think will end up as our record will be. Do you think we'll make the playoffs? If so, what seed? Who do you think will play in the first round? Do you think we can beat them? Do you think we can make the second round? How far do you think we can go? And who do you think a free agent will be that we can nab or trade for? And what type of trade would you make? So just leave some comments down below. And again, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up on there. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. As always, peace. I'm out.